Yo, yo, yo. What up, what up, what up, my betting family? We back with another video here at No Limit Bets for the NBA slate of March 18, 2023. Before we get started, though, as always, I would like to say good morning to y'all, good afternoon, whatever time it may be that you're watching this video. Hope y'all having a good one, and hopefully we can make it a better day by winning some money. Also, if you guys are new to the channel, please like, comment, and subscribe, man. It's truly appreciated. We're currently on the road to 500 subscribers, and we're about 15 subscribers away from hitting that mark. So I definitely appreciate all the love and support that you guys have shown thus far. But without further ado, let's hop into today's video. I'm going to be bringing y'all my top 6 picks for today's or tonight's NBA slate of games. Just to do a quick recap of yesterday's slips that I did submit. I submitted a total of 3 slips. As you guys can see with this one, we were able to go 5-1. Very, very close to the sweep, as Nick Richards was the only one that wasn't able to hit his over. It took him over 8.5 rebounds. He only ends up with 2. So 5-1 with this slip. The second slip was the picks that I did post on yesterday's video. And it was a very, very disappointing slip, as we were only able to go 1-5. As you guys can see, Brandon Ingram was the only one that was able to go over his line. We took his over points, and he ends up with 31. The other 5, they all came close, but ultimately did not green for us. Trey Jones was kind of a weird situation. Usually they start him. He's always in the starting lineup when he is healthy. And for whatever reason, last night's game, he came off the bench. Now, that I'm not using that as an excuse, because he eventually played 30-plus minutes and was the game went into overtime. He was pretty much played the much of the fourth quarter and all of the overtime period. So he had, his opportunities. He just came up short with 20 PRAs. Jabari Smith, he gets into, I guess, a little bit of foul trouble in the first half. But he did, I believe, end up making the game-winning shot. So, I mean, he had a good game overall, just not the game that I expected him to have. Obviously, I took his over 22.5 points and rebounds. Trae Young, he did his thing assist-wise, just comes up short on points-wise. He only ends up with 25. We just needed one more bucket from him. He only ends up with 37. James Harden comes close with 10 assists, but wasn't able to get it done, as that game was a complete blowout. And then AD comes up short with 36 out of the 41 that we needed. So 1-5 day, like I said, a very disappointing day on the picks that I did post on yesterday's video. So we certainly look to bounce back on today's top 6 picks. So let's go ahead and hop into them. For my first pick, I'm going to go to the points category, and I'm going to be going down to the Clippers and Magic game. And I'm going to be taking Paolo Banchero over 20.5 points against the Clippers. Now, as you guys can see, over his last 5, he's averaging 21.6, going over in 2 out of those 5 games. One of the games he ended up right on the hook against Milwaukee with 20. Now, against the Clippers, today I think he should have a good matchup, as the Clippers for the season are allowing the second most points per game to opposing power forwards. Also, there's going to be no Kawhi for this game. So, I mean, if anything, they kind of lose a little bit of a defensive, player that could probably match up with, Banchero. And then my last point with this one is in their earlier matchup this year, Banchero goes over with 23 points. So all in all, I think should be a good spot, should be a good matchup for him. So I'm going to be rocking with him for my first pick. For my second pick, I'm going to stick to the points category. And I'm going to go to the earliest game on the slate. Nuggets against the Knicks. And I'm going to be taking MPJ over 15.5 points. Now, over his last five, he's averaging 16 going over in only two out of those 5 games. Their last game against Detroit, he ends up right on the hook with 15. Now, against the Knicks, I also think this should be a good matchup as for the season, the Knicks are allowing the most points per game and the fourth most threes per game to opposing small forwards. Obviously, with the Nuggets, the way they play with Jokic, they play through Jokic, and Jokic pretty much makes the right read. I would say 90% of the time, and that's how MPJ gets most of his threes is out of kickouts from either driving kicks or from Jokic being down on the post and kicking it out to him if a double comes or whatnot. Also, overall, the Knicks defense are allowing the third highest 3-point percentage to opposing teams this season. So they've been struggling to guard the 3-point, which is where MPJ excels at. So I think this should be a good game for him. These two teams did match up and play each other earlier once this season, and he only ends up with 5 points. He had a rough game going 1 for 8 from the field, 1 for 6 from the three. But in that game, there was no Jokic, so maybe that could have been a reasoning for the rough game that he did have. But all in all, I think today he should have a better game, a bounce back game against the Knicks. So I'm going to be taking MPJ over 15.5 points for my second pick. For my third pick, I'm going to be going to the points and rebounds category. And I'm going to be going down to the Kings and Wizards game. And I'm going to be taking Domantas Sabonis over 33.5 points and rebounds. Now, these two teams did match up earlier this season where Sabonis ended up with 35 points and rebounds. Now, the main reason why I like this, one of the reasons is the Wizards are on the second night of back-to-back. Also, the Wizards, since they had Porzingis, and Sacramento, since they had Sabonis, they've only I think they're only matched up like once or twice. Obviously, that's including the one time they did play earlier this season. So there's just not much stats that I can go off. But against he's either going to be matched up against Porzingis or Daniel Gafford. But either one of those, it really doesn't matter, as he's been able to produce pretty much versus either of those matchup. But if he's matched up against Porzingis, he's been over this line in 7 straight games. And if he's matched up against Daniel Gafford, he's been over this line in 6 straight. So really, to me, it doesn't matter who's guarding him. They really don't seem to have an answer for Sabonis down low. So that's the main reason why I like this pick. So I'm going to be taking Sabonis over 33.5 for my third pick. For my fourth pick, I'm going to go back to the points category. And I'm going to be going to the Sixers and Pacers game. And I'm going to be taking Buddy Hield over 17.5 points. Now, I know over his last 5, he's only averaging 15.2. He did only hit the over in 1 out of his last 5 games. He had a couple games there where he ended up right on the hook against Detroit and Houston. But one of the main reasons why I like this over for him today is there's going to be no Tyrese Halliburton, no Benedict Mathurin, and no Chris Duarte. So those 3 players are pretty much the Pacers, you could say top 3 perimeter threats. And with them being out, I expect Buddy Hield, to be really the only perimeter threat offensively that the Pacers have. So they're gonna need his scoring today. And as we know, Buddy Hield is an up and down player. He is a streaky shooter, but if we're catching him on on a day that he just seems to be hot and have it going, we can easily hit this over. Now, the Pacers and the Sixers have matched up 3 times thus far this season, and he's hit this over in 2 out of those 3 games. In those 3 games, he's had 18 points, 24, and in their latest ones, he is the one that he missed with only 15. Now, overall, without Tyrese Halliburton in the lineup, Buddy Hield has hit this over in 7 of his last 9 games. So, all in all, like I said, they're going to need his scoring. And I think he could get it done for us today against the Sixers, who are on the second night of a back-to-back. And not sure really how they're going to really play, if they're going to be dominant, meaning the Sixers, or they're just going to play down to their competition. So I'm going to be taking Buddy Hield over 17.5 points for my 4th pick. For my 5th pick, I'm going to go to the rebounds category, and I'm going to be going down to the Raptors and Timberwolves game, and I'm going to be taking Jakob Poeltl over 10.5 rebounds. Now, as you guys can see, over his last 5, he's averaging 10.6. There's been a lot of, close. He's either come very, very close of hitting the over or very close of not being able to get to it. As you guys can see, he's hit the over in 3 out of the last 5. 2 out of the 3 that he did go over, he just made it over with 11. The third one he did go over against OKC, he had 12. And then the 2 that he missed, he barely just missed on the hook against the Lakers with 10. And then against the Nuggets, he ended up with 9. So I do like his matchup today against the Timberwolves, another team who's on the second night of a back-to-back. They obviously have Rudy Gobert down low in the paint, and I think Poeltl is going to be needed to match up with him. Now, Poeltl hasn't faced the Timberwolves in a while. I mean, his last 2-3 seasons, 4 seasons, he's been with the Spurs. So these are the only stats that I can go off of. Now, he's hit this over in 3 out of his last 4 against the Timberwolves. These were all with the Spurs, as he's had 17, 14, 10, and 14 rebounds. So the one that he did miss was right on the hook with 10. Now, over the last 7 games, the Timberwolves are allowing the 6th most rebounds per game to opposing centers. So all in all, I think it should be a good matchup for him, being that the Timberwolves are in the second night of the back-to-back. He should be able to get, a lot of rebounds. The Timberwolves might be, tired or whatnot. A lot of missed shots probably at the beginning of the game before they get the rhythm going. So I'm going to be taking him, Jakob Poeltl, over 10.5 for my 5th pick. And for my 6th and last pick, I'm going to go to the PRA category. I'm going to go back to the earliest game on the slate, the Knicks against the Nuggets. And I'm going to be taking the under on RJ Barrett, 27.5 PRAs. Now, over his last 5, he is averaging 30 above this line. He's gone over in 3 of his last 5 games. Their last game against Portland, he ended up right on the hook with 27. But against the Nuggets, it's a totally different story, as he's played the Nuggets 7 times in his career, and he has not hit this over in any of those 7 games. And on top of that, Jalen Brunson is a game time decision for today's game. So if he plays, obviously RJ Barrett is going to get, less touches. And if he doesn't play, I still like this under, as he hasn't played well against the Nuggets in his career. So the Nuggets seem to have RJ Barrett's number as far as, his stats, as he doesn't play well against them. So that's going to be my 6th and last pick. Just to recap, I'm going to be taking the over on all of my picks except RJ Barrett's PRA. I'm going to be taking the under. And as always, if you guys agree with any of my plays, please do your own research. Just don't take my word for it. And also here at No Limit Bets, we like to go with the low risk, high reward. So we're going to be placing a $5 bet for the possibility of winning 125. So we're going to go ahead and place that entry. And that's going to be it for today's video, y'all. Y'all have a good rest of y'all day. Enjoy the games tonight, and we'll be back here tomorrow.